I still remember the exact moment I realized I had been stood up. The restaurant lights felt brighter, harsher somehow, like they were exposing me. Every time the door opened, my heart jumped, only to fall again when it wasn't her. My phone screen stayed dark. No apology, no explanation, just silence. I had spent an hour rehearsing what I would say, how I would smile, how I would pretend I wasn't nervous, and now I was sitting alone at a table for two, with a bouquet of white lilies slowly wilting beside me. If you believe in kindness, in second chances, and in the idea that sometimes life's biggest disappointments hide unexpected blessings, take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel. Stories like this remind us that even heartbreak can lead to something beautiful. Her name was Alina. We had been talking for 3 weeks. She had this way of texting that made everything sound thoughtful and warm. She remembered small details, how I liked my coffee without sugar, how I used to sketch when I felt overwhelmed, how I hadn't been on a real date since my last relationship ended badly. She said she admired honesty. She said she was tired of games. I believed her. When I arrived at the restaurant that evening, I noticed an older woman sitting at a corner table near the window. She looked familiar, but I couldn't place her. She was dressed simply, a soft blue shawl around her shoulders, her silver hair tied neatly back. Her eyes occasionally drifted toward me, not in a strange way, just observant. I assumed she was waiting for someone too. After 45 minutes, I sent Alina a message asking if she was okay. It showed delivered. No response. At the 1-hour mark, embarrassment began to replace hope. The waiter approached gently, asking if I wanted to order something while I waited. I forced a smile and asked for water. That's when the older woman stood up and walked toward my table. She moved with quiet confidence, the kind that comes from surviving more than you let people see. Up close, I recognized her from Alina's profile picture. It was subtle, but the eyes were the same. She introduced herself as Alina's mother. My chest tightened. 1,000 thoughts ran through my mind at once. Was Alina hurt? Was something wrong? Had I misunderstood the date entirely? But her mother's expression wasn't panicked. It was complicated, sad, perhaps even apologetic. She told me Alina wouldn't be coming. No explanation followed immediately, just that simple sentence, heavy and final. I felt heat rush to my face. I nodded as if I understood, even though I didn't. I started gathering my things, mumbling something about it being fine, about these things happening. Then she said something I didn't expect. She asked if I would sit with her for a few minutes. Normally I would have declined. It felt awkward, almost absurd. But there was something in her eyes, not pity, not judgment, but sincerity. So I sat back down. She told me that Alina had panicked, that she had been excited about the date all week, but when the time came, fear took over. Fear of disappointment, fear of vulnerability, fear of repeating past mistakes. She had driven halfway to the restaurant, then turned back. I felt a strange mix of relief and hurt. Relief that I wasn't simply forgotten, hurt that I wasn't worth the risk. Her mother spoke gently about how Alina had changed after a painful breakup 2 years ago. She had become cautious, building walls so high that even genuine people struggled to reach her. She said she had watched her daughter push away good opportunities because she couldn't bear the possibility of being hurt again. I listened quietly, unsure what I was supposed to do with this information. Then her mother surprised me again. She told me she had come tonight not to defend her daughter, but to thank me. Thank me? She explained that Alina had spoken about me often, about how I listened, how I didn't rush conversations, how I respected boundaries. She said it had been a long time since she had seen her daughter smile while texting someone. That alone meant something. My throat tightened. She said she didn't want me to leave thinking I had done something wrong. She didn't want me to carry the weight of someone else's fear. For the first time that evening, I felt seen. We ended up talking longer than I expected, about life, about heartbreak, about how sometimes timing is cruel. She shared stories of her own youth, how she had once pushed away the man who would later become her husband because she was afraid he was too good to be true. She laughed softly at the memory. There was something healing about that conversation. It wasn't romantic. It wasn't dramatic. It was honest. When the bill arrived, I reached for it instinctively. She stopped me, and that's when she offered me something I couldn't refuse. She asked if I would give her daughter one more chance, But not that night, not in a grand gesture. She asked if I would simply send Alina a message when I got home. Not angry, not sarcastic, just kind. She said sometimes courage grows slowly, and sometimes people need proof that gentleness still exists. At first I hesitated. Part of me wanted to protect my pride. I had already felt humiliated once that evening. Reaching out again felt like opening myself up to more disappointment. But as I looked at her, I realized this wasn't just about a date. It was about whether I wanted to be the kind of person who responds to fear with ego or with empathy. I agreed. We walked out of the restaurant together. The night air was cool, and the city lights blurred softly in the distance. Before parting ways, she squeezed my hand and thanked me again. It was such a small gesture, but it carried the weight of a mother's hope. When I got home, I stared at my phone for a long time. My fingers hovered over the keyboard. Finally, I typed a simple message. I told Alina I hoped she was okay. I said I understood that sometimes fear wins. I told her there was no pressure, but if she ever felt ready, I'd be open to trying again. I didn't expect a reply that night. But 15 minutes later, my phone buzzed. Her message was long. She apologized. She admitted she had been sitting in her car crying, unable to force herself inside. She said she had been terrified that I would turn out to be like the last man she trusted. She said she hated that fear controlled her. I read her words slowly, feeling something shift inside me. Over the next few weeks, we didn't rush into another date. Instead, we talked honestly about fear, about expectations, about the weight of past experiences. There were no dramatic promises, just gradual trust. Our second attempt at meeting was simple. No fancy restaurant, just a quiet cafe in the afternoon. When she walked in, I could see the nervousness in her eyes, but she didn't turn back this time. That first real meeting wasn't perfect. We stumbled over words. We laughed awkwardly. But there was something genuine about it. Something earned. Months passed. We learned each other slowly. We discovered flaws and insecurities, but also patience and resilience. It wasn't a fairy tale. We disagreed sometimes. We had moments of doubt. But we chose to stay. One evening, nearly a year after that failed first date, we invited her mother to dinner. As we sat around the table, laughing over a slightly burnt dessert, I caught her mother watching us with quiet satisfaction. Later that night, as I walked her to her car, she thanked me again. She said sometimes the smallest decisions, like sending one kind message instead of walking away, can change the direction of multiple lives. She was right. If I had let pride win that night, I would have missed out on something real. If her mother hadn't stepped forward with courage and humility, I might have left believing I wasn't enough. Life doesn't always reward grand gestures. Sometimes it rewards steady kindness. Before this story comes to a close, I have a small special request for you. Comment the word courage if you believe facing fear is the first step toward something beautiful. Today, Alina and I still talk about that night. Not as a failure, but as a turning point. It reminds us that fear doesn't make someone unworthy of love. It just makes them human. And if this story touched your heart even a little, please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe. Your support allows stories like this to reach someone who might be sitting alone at a table right now, wondering if they're not enough. Because sometimes the person who doesn't show up isn't rejecting you. Sometimes they're fighting a battle you can't see. And sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is stay kind anyway.